All right. Welcome to the Knicks Film School Postgame Show presented by BetUS. We are here live from T Squared Social. I am recording this in their private room, I guess, as Andrew Claudio, I don't know, I think this might be the first time this ever happened, is literally sitting across from me as I record this postgame. And this is a notable one. This was quite a basketball game, and I'm taking a second to kind of gather my thoughts, which I've been thinking about my thoughts for the last 15 or 20 minutes or so, because I want to honor everybody out there who is disappointed in this outcome. Obviously, I'm disappointed in this outcome. I haven't felt like this specifically. I've been bummed after games for different reasons. I've been mad after games. I've been annoyed after games. I've been all kinds of things after the games. I haven't felt like this specifically after a game for a while. And that's because this was a playoff game. Felt like a playoff game. Had the intensity of a playoff game. Had Jeremy here. See you later. It had certainly the quality of a playoff game, and more than anything else, it had two teams that I would expect to be playing certainly into May. And if you told me that these teams had more than one game left against each other this season, I would not be surprised. And that's kind of really where I want to begin because, you know, obviously the Knicks didn't win. And when you are a team that is trying to win a title, it's hard to have your shout out to Fred Katz. It's hard to have your cake and eat it too. It's hard to, on one hand, say, hey, we're here to win it all. And then on the other hand, say, we could have a moral victory. And I don't know that I'm going to sit here and say that this was a moral victory because the Knicks could have won this game. I think the Knicks, I don't even know. Should the Knicks have won this game? We could have, I'm sure that's going to be the conversation of the night. Should the Knicks have won this game? We could talk about it. That's I'm curious what people have to say. I think there's some, we'll talk about it, but regardless of what your answer is on that question, for me, this was the highest level basketball that I saw played this year in the NBA. Not just the Knicks, between any two teams that I saw. And I think, and the unfortunate part about it, and this is why this is a complicated postgame to do for me, is that the Knicks saved their worst for last and the Thunder saved their best for last. And that's not how you want to be if you're the team that loses. You want to be neck and neck the whole game, and you don't want to ever let go of the rope. And I'm not going to sit here and say the Knicks let go of the rope. I understand they scored. Actually, I don't even know offhand how many points they scored in the fourth quarter. Ended up scoring 19 points in the fourth quarter, but the more relevant stat is they were outscored by 18 points in the fourth quarter. That means they're not there yet. Call a spade a spade. That means they're not there yet. That means they have further to go. Where I come at my analysis of this game is I already knew coming into tonight that they had further to go. I don't think anybody who has watched this team this year didn't think they had further to go. I don't think anybody who watched this 9-game winning streak and who was, smoking that good stuff on 9 straight for the 4th fucking time. Can we get to 10? One of these goddamn years. Oh my God. Anyway, sorry. I don't think anybody thought that they'd figured it all out. I think what a lot of people, and I'll just speak for myself, were wondering going into this game is, okay, great. Show it to me against the best. And ultimately, the reason why I'm going to come out of tonight more encouraged about this team than I went into tonight is for certainly 3 quarters, you showed that there is no team in the league that is capable of outplaying the Knicks when the Knicks are on their game. And in conjunction with that, the Knicks were able to play their game against a team that, and I'm going to shout out Jared Dubin, who writes Last Night in Basketball. I've shouted him out a bunch of times this year, and he's been on the pod. Obviously, he was on the pod a few weeks ago. I kept this up. I was hoping I was hoping I wouldn't have to use it, but I figured I was going to use it either way. This is from a newsletter he wrote from within the last week. So this Thunder team the Knicks play tonight have the best it's a defensive rating plus, which is basically factors in all kinds of additional stuff. The best rating in his entire database. Checking in ever so slightly, I'm just reading from a past newsletter of his, against ahead of the 2004 Spurs and considerably ahead of the famously elite defenses like 2008 Celtics, 93 and 94 Knicks, and 2004 Pistons. They are the best defense in the league. They are the best defense the league has seen in some time. They're in contention for the best defense ever. So that defense in the fourth quarter got the better of the Knicks offense that has been on a record-setting pace in its own right throughout the season. And that's annoying. But, I'm going to give you a but. For 3 quarters, the Knicks had that defense's number. And I know they didn't score a ton of points through 3 quarters. The Knicks ended up with 107 points in this game. Through 3 quarters, they scored, 66, 76, 86, 88 points. That's exceptional. I know they only scored 22 points in the third quarter, but I thought you could argue that despite I understand that they made that run in the second quarter, and we're going to talk about the second quarter because I thought in some ways that was the most impressive quarter of the Knicks season by a considerable margin. I think there's an argument that what the Knicks did in the third quarter to take that punch from OKC coming out of halftime with that 8-0 run and to punch right back and regain a double-digit lead and be up 8 heading into the fourth quarter, I got to tell you, I thought that was just as impressive. So I keep dancing around it. It's a disappointing outcome. It's not a disappointing effort. And I don't think it's a disappointing execution in terms of what the Knicks needed to do to come into this game to give themselves a chance to win. Are there things to clean up? Absolutely. I wanted to wait till the 10-minute mark before I gave you my real silver lining, or not silver lining, before I gave you my what's the word? I can't think straight right now. But my my excuse card. The fact that this was a game in the final minutes and the Knicks on this night shot. Hold on, I've lost my page. I'm going to pull it back up right now. Shot, and they're in a bit of a 3-point shooting slump. We could just call it like it is right now. The fact that on this night, the Knicks shot 28% from 3 and the Thunder shot 52% from 3. And between those shooting numbers and between Jalen Brunson going 9 for 23 and finishing with 22 points, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander going 12 for 26 and finishing with 33 points, I thought the Knicks defense did a fantastic, not good, not great, fantastic job adjusting on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander after a first quarter in which he basically did whatever he wanted against them. They adjusted. I thought they defended him incredibly well throughout the second and third quarters. Did he get what he needed to get down the stretch? Absolutely. Was Jalen Brunson able to make the similar plays down the stretch? He made a couple shots in the fourth quarter. He did a couple nice things. I he left. There was more on the bone there. I do not think this was Jalen Brunson's best game. Here's what I'm going to say, and this is, I think, probably the first controversial statement that I'm going to say. I don't think the fact that Jalen Brunson had a poor game had to do mostly with the Thunder defense. I think the Thunder defense absolutely had a lot to do with it. It's not to say that they did not deserve credit. They absolutely deserve credit. Jalen Brunson was a game-time decision tonight. Jalen Brunson didn't play in the last game. And for anybody out there saying Jalen Brunson didn't play in the last game because the Knicks were resting him, if you're saying that, you ain't been paying attention, brother or sister, because that's not how this Knicks team operates. That's not how this Knicks coach operates. I thought Jalen Brunson tonight gave it everything he had. I did not feel like we were seeing peak Jalen Brunson. And in a game like this, where at the end of a tight game and it's a tie game or it's a one-possession game in the final 5 minutes, like, man, I've been watching the NBA for 30 years. I don't care how many three-pointers people shoot. I don't care how much offenses evolve. At the end of a game like this, it's mano a mano. And their guy tonight was better than our guy. And I don't really feel bad saying that because their guy's probably, at this point, if I had to bet, I'd probably bet on him that he's going to win MVP. So I don't really feel bad about that. But here's the thing. I know our guy's going to be there, and I would take our guy next game. I would take him the game after that. I would take him the game after that. I would take him the game after that. That's how I feel about Jalen Brunson. More importantly, or just as importantly, I think, and this is kind of, if I was going to give you one big takeaway, I don't have a Juan Please in front of me because I think I drank all of the Juan Pleases that the bar has in stock. But if I was going to do one big takeaway from this game, it's that I think you got proof of concept. And for me, I'm not sure if I felt before tonight that I had gotten, for me, definitive proof of concept, like, oh, okay, this team can win a title. Again, got to clean up some stuff in the fourth quarter. The Thunder pressed the Knicks. Shout out to the great Fred Katz. He tweeted a little while ago that the Thunder did better than any other team that he's seen in terms of trapping Jalen Brunson and making sure that those situations did not turn into advantages for the Knicks. I'm sure there's going to be some talk about the referees tonight. I didn't love the way that the game was called. I'm sure people watching didn't love the way the game was called. I totally understand that. Am I going to blame this loss on the refs? No, I'm not going to blame this loss on the refs. I think these Knicks, if there's something that's a little, they do at times tend to let refereeing get in their heads a little bit, and I wonder if that wasn't the case a little bit down the stretch of this game. Something they got to work on. Neither here nor there right now, but they have to adjust. They have to get better in those situations. And the other thing I think that hurt them is, I think, team wide, and specifically Jalen Brunson. I'm gonna pull up his stats right now because, again, I don't. To be very clear, I don't think that, like, I'm not worried long term, and I don't think this is going to be an issue moving forward. But I do just want to point out at this present moment, Jalen Brunson's in the shooting slump. Here are his last 6 games from three. 0 of 5, 0 of 5, 0 of 2, 3 of 11, 1 of 6, and then tonight, 0 of 5. So if that's not a shooting slump, I don't know what's a shooting slump. So because when your lead initiator, when your primary initiator is not comfortable pulling up from deep in today's NBA, I just, like, it puts your offense at such a deficit, and he was forced to go inside. And I mean, the Thunder did a nice enough job. Again, I thought he got good shots. I thought he just missed a couple shots that are decent shots, but still, Can they get better at moving the ball more in those situations? Absolutely. 100%. Stuff to work on. Thibodeau said after the game, I saw somebody had it. I apologize. I forget which reporter had this. I think it was James Edwards III, that there were a couple scramble plays where the ball was like loose and it was like anybody's ball, and it ended up going to the Thunder, and the Thunder wound up turning around and hitting a three-pointer. I completely agree with Tibbs, as will surprise nobody. I thought those were big plays. So when you combine Nick's inability to hit threes, Nick's inability to get out of traps, Brunson struggles from the field, SGA coming up with some just MVP level plays, and the Thunder getting all of those, 50-50 balls. And then the guy I haven't mentioned, I've been talking for 17 minutes, I haven't mentioned the name, Aaron Wiggins. Thunder fans, I would hope that they will refer to this moving forward as the Aaron Wiggins game. 19 points on 9 shots. How you doing? I just listed 6 things. I just listed 6 things that did not go in the Knicks' favor. And this was a 1-possession game with a couple of minutes left. And this was a game the Knicks led by 14 late in the second quarter. And this was a game the Knicks led by 8 going into the fourth quarter. So I know I feel like I've been dancing around it for a while. I cannot sit here and be negative and feel discouraged after this loss for all of these reasons that I'm trying to get at right now. This team is headed in the right direction. And again, championship isn't competed for. I mean, it's competed for all year long, but you don't play the finals in January or March, or like you play them in June. And they have a long runway. And then the last thing I'm going to say, and then I'll do a quick autograph signature moment of the game. If there is one glaring concern, and I think it crystallized for me tonight, and I have not brought up the name Deuce McBride yet, and I have not brought up the name Chet Holmgren yet. And the reason that I'm not going to blame this game's on the fact that the Knicks did not have Deuce McBride is because the guy that the Thunder are missing probably could have made an all-star team this year if he had been healthy. So they were missing a guy that's better than the guy we were missing. That said, the lack of Deuce tonight made it even more glaring. And this has been a point of contention for me because like some people have come out and said that the Knicks have there have been a lot of talk about the Knicks bench. And there have been some people that have gone out there and said the Knicks have like either the weakest bench of the league or one of the weakest benches in the league or the weakest bench of every contender or any of those sorts of things. And I've kind of pushed back on that because I'm like, well, hold on, wait a minute here. You have a 6th man of the year contender, Deuce McBride. You have a perfectly adequate 7th man in Precious Achiuwa. And I really liked what Campaign had brought so far this year. And then, for much of the year, I was talking about wait till you get Landry Shamet back and then, make a trade, wait till Mitch gets back. Right now, tonight, the Knicks played 5 guys. The Knicks had 5 guys play for them, and the Thunder had 9 guys play for them. 10, actually, but like, if you look at the Thunder bench, Kenrich Williams, I thought gave them like a couple decent minutes. Jalen Williams, their backup center, hit 2 freaking threes. Both of them seemed huge in the moment. Isaiah Joe, he was only 3 for 8, but like he's a threat anytime he's out there. You got to pay attention to him. I mentioned Aaron Wiggins. Mitchell, I thought Mitchell hurt the Knicks in the first half. Really hurt the Knicks in the first half. Went 3 for 6 from the field for 8 points. So like they had 5 guys come in. Now, there's going to be Thibodeau detractors out there who are going to be like, well, that's the only person who's at fault for that is the head coach. He has bench guys. He refuses to play them. And look, it's the hill I'm going to die on. And you could think your thing and I could think my thing. And the thing again, this is my hill that I'm going to die on. If he had guys that were that could come in and being capable of doing what the Thunder bench guys were capable of doing, I think he'd play them. Like the Thunder, their bench is so stacked that they couldn't even keep Trey Mann because they didn't have roster spots. That guy was one of the best players for the Charlotte Hornets. The Charlotte Hornets stink, but still, Thunder couldn't even keep him. They got Ousmane Dieng, who they traded with the Knicks to get a couple years ago. He can't even get on the freaking court. Like, this is one of the deepest teams in the league, and their depth, when you put it against the Knicks' lack of depth tonight, I think I kind of came over to the other side of the people who are like, man, their bench is a fucking problem. And that's the last thing I'm going to say. I don't want to end the monologue on a negative note, but I did think that was kind of glaring tonight. So I think it's going to be a very interesting next month as we hear some trade rumors potentially. Ian Begley had a great question and answer today in which he talked about Mitchell Robinson, and the Knicks ideally would like to have him back and healthy and work him in and him be a big factor and all of the things. But, oh, by the way, he's still not running yet or not, he hasn't progressed to the next stage yet, and it might be a little while. So we'll see. Autograph signature moment of the game. Check my notes here. I thought there's a few that I could go for. I mean, the entire last 6 minutes of the second quarter was just awe-inspiring. How about this? You know what the signature moment of the game was? OG Anunoby getting up from the court with his arm still intact, and then getting up and going back in the game and playing more basketball without his arm falling off. That was my Autograph signature moment of the game. Shout out to Autograph. Go download their app. Get rewarded for your fandom. Use code KFS if you do that, and you get to see some exclusive content for all your favorite content creators, including yours truly. So thank you, Autograph. Okay. Andrew went somewhere. I don't even know where he is. He left. He just got up and left. I think he was sick of hearing me talk.
I'm in the East Square 43rd Street entrance because you had an echo when I heard you. Because if I'm in the room with you, I hear your mic and then I hear you. This is what happens when we do a post game at a restaurant. So
okay, got it.
Yeah, but
I miss you.
I'm looking at 40. I'm looking at 43rd. I'm literally on the other side of that wall for you.
I right there. There you go.
And I mean, I see 43rd Street. It's quiet because it's 43rd Street, not 42nd Street. And yeah, there's nobody over here. I see the Papa Shot. There's a couple over there playing ski. Not ski ball. Foosball.
I saw they added the foosball table. Shout out. By the way, I started with a shout out to T Squared. I'll end with a shout out to T Squared. T Squared, phenomenal job as always. We had such a really great crowd tonight come out. I wish they could have gotten the win for every Knicks fan out there, but especially for the people that came out.